Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the. Are we on? I guess so. Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. It is Sunday. I am here. I have a thing in my nose, but it's going. It's leaving. By the end of the day, I'll be fine today. So bear with me. I've got a bevy of coffee here. I have a pour over and a French press. So who knows ultimately what could happen. Let's get a look at these. They're banana-y. It's a nice baby yellow. It's springtime. It's wonderful. It's excellent. And here I am. And here are you. I also want to say, before you do anything else, you must watch the latest AEW with the Frat House. They are making quite a name for themselves in this episode and beyond. Shaq Jameson, Preston Vance, Griff Garrison, Cole Carter, and the Bear. And the fucking Bear. Go watch it, go like it, go comment, go share, go tell people that you like it. Go tell them that they did a good job despite their misgivings. They're trying their best. That's really the important thing. Yeah, okay. Let's take a pour and a sip. There we go. Excellent. Have a nice time. In my view, I don't even know who's on the show anymore. Dara said, "Good morning, my loves. I've missed our Sunday so much. Hope you've all been well." Mia said, "Good morning, beautiful people." James said, "Good morning. Happy November. The clocks have gone back, and that's why I'm so refreshed." Prisma said, "Another day, another pantsing." Leo said, "Why do you wear Sopranos clothes?" And by Sopranos clothes, he means shirts and pants and shoes, which they often wore in The Sopranos. So Sierra said, "Good morning." Avery said, "Just finished a new episode, and God, I'm amazed no one got paddled." Prisma, you think they would use it? You think he would be wielding it? He sort of used it as a walking cane. Prisma said, "Yeah, after the Darby episode, I was waiting for a paddling." Manuel said, "Best underrated frat house movie. Back to School. I think it's better than your old schools and your Animal Houses." Darnell said, "Hello, sir," and said, "Something in your nose?" Yes, I clarified that at the beginning of the episode, but you're late. Are you getting over a cold? I have a tea that's perfect for you. That sounds sexual. Neil said, "Good morning, all. I'm still in shock from Hay." Katie said, hashtag SRK. Someone define that for me. Here's my thing about this 6-7 shit. They call it an inside joke, but it means nothing. So it's not an inside joke. It's not even really a joke. It's just a thing. It's like, what's the joke? But it's no joke. It's just a fun thing to say. And I think maybe it's so accessible because there's nothing to think about. A real joke, for example, did you hear the one about the blind prostitute? You really had to hand it to her. You have to think about that for it to make sense. But something like 6-7, you can participate, You can participate without thinking. You don't need to know anything. It doesn't exclude you. You just say it. It's like saying, "Good morning, how are you? Good morning, how are you?" You don't even have to answer. It's something that just needs to be said, and you're included, I guess, amongst nice society. Red Dog said, "Good morning, RJ, and everyone." Leo said, "Hey, W, no, hey, W, the frat house are by far the worst gimmick in AEW. I hope this isn't your brainchild." Yes, I come up with any school gimmicks are mine. Doral said, "Who the fuck is Griff Garrison?" I had that in my notes, and I cut it out. It felt tacky. Ellie Smelly said, "Good morning." Leo said, "Who cares?" Leo was greatly bothered by the frat house. Mikey said, "Good morning. Did you stay up to watch the Jays game last night?" I did, for the first time since 1993. And, well, that was sad. So it's so sad to stay up that late and go, this is worth me seeing them win. And then they don't win. I go, well, I could have saved an hour of sleep. Dara said, it was crazy to see how far Bernard the business bear has fallen since his days hanging with the Bullet Club. Well, I think it's a commentary on business and capitalism. I think it's a criticism that it's inherently corrupt. Lola Redfeather said, morning. Prisman said, I've so missed the pourings. Nail said, is Christine here? Phil Darnell said, hi, Nail. Ellie said, I hope everyone had a great Halloween. Personally, I painted my face like Darby to celebrate. I only saw 2 or 3 people dress up like me for Halloween this year, and this is why it bothers me. Because I think I'm a good, easy costume. Pants and a shirt, maybe kind of glasses and a coffee mug. Very accessible. I'm like the 6'7", of Halloween costumes. Mia said, I was about to ask the same thing. Where is she? Leo said, every frat house movie was rapey as shit. But that was the time. Daryl said, Triple Lindy. Back to school. I don't think it was rapey. Please correct me if I'm wrong. AKA Baldy just said Mauve Beret, which he said to me at New York Comic Con. It blew my mind. Messani said, back to school, just one of the guys, and Karate Kid, the William Zabka trilogy. Katie said, I was pissed that Ace Austin did not use his cane last night. Juice Robinson's beard needs to come back. Ace Austin's cane needs to come back. Austin Gunn's brother needs to come back. Have you seen the college movie Fart? No, I have not. Did anyone? Let's look it up. Fart, the movie, 1991. Let's see who's in this. It's from Belarus. The movie they said could never be made. Russell has 2 passions, watching television and farting. He also loves Heather. Heather hates farting, the eternal triangle. One day she warns him, if they ever allow farting on television, you'll never leave the house. One evening, he goes to sleep in front of the TV and it happens. Virtually everything on TV is fart-related, from sitcoms and commercials to newscasts and dramas. Okay. All right. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. It only lasted like 20 minutes. And then all the other reviews are not in English. But it sounds good. Katie said, RJ, from the episode you just did, hashtag Spit Roast King. Great. I wanted that branding to stick to me. It's very weird that, you do the episode. I prepare the questions, obviously. And then nuts things happen in the episode. And the second we cut, I forget everything. My editor messaged me after it was shot. He was putting it together. And he said, do we have to cut, or do we have to bleep Kevin Nash? And I did not recall saying Kevin Nash. And I did not recall what would be so bad that we had to bleep Kevin Nash. Obviously, we didn't bleep Kevin Nash. There's nothing bad said. But I had no recollection of even saying it. Ellie said, Animal House is still my GOAT frat movie. Mikey said, the benefit of 6'7" is my students no longer freak out over 69. But isn't 6'7" just like with a sharper penis? Joelle said, good morning, RJ and chat. Avery said, also things have definitely gotten more and more sexual on Hey. If I recall, a certain Ian Riccaboni used to be a former sex educator. Well, now I want him on the show. Misa, welcome back to your home. Leo said, someone said Ace got a haircut. I haven't seen Collision yet. Did he cut his hair? I don't think so. Speaking of fart, where is Harley? That's how allergic I am to her. Leo said, have you seen Eurotrip with that gross incest kiss? Eurotrip's a good movie. I would not classify it as a college comedy. Obviously, they're leaving college, and it's a road trip movie. But Katie said the frat house, more like the fart house. Got him again. Leo said there's a movie called Sex Lives of the Potato Men. Let's look that one up. Where are you getting these? Okay. Film concerns the sexual antics of a group of potato delivery men in Birmingham and stars Johnny Vegas and Mackenzie Crook. Potato salesman Dave is ejected from his home for his slobbish behavior. He meets up with his friend Ferris, potato driver around Birmingham, attempting to find sexual partners and sell potatoes. The film was subject to controversy due to the fact that nearly £1 million of public money from the National Lottery via the UK Film Council was used to fund the project. Nigel Andrews in the Financial Times criticized the use of lottery for funding the film. It grossed $1.5 million at the box office, not bad. Critics disliked the film intensely. The film has a 0% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. James Christopher of the Times called it one of the two most nauseous films ever made. Antonia Quirk called it mirthless, worthless, toothless, useless. Kevin O'Sullivan called it one of the worst films ever made. Peter Bradshaw said it's a film which isn't in the slightest bit funny or sexy. He came there for the sex. It is deeply depressing, diminishes the reputation of many excellent TV comics who are made to look tawdry and naff up there on the big screen in an echoing cinema. Catherine Chouard said it's like finding the right words at a Nazi accident. The lewdest British comedy since Confessions of a Window Cleaner, and certainly the worst. Years after the film was released, it's still being discussed by film critics as an unusually bad film. Absolutely indescribably horrible, vulgar, stupid, tawdry, depressing, embarrassing, filthy, vile, stinky, repugnant, slimy, unclean, nasty, degenerative, and mind-numbing. This is excellent. Strong contender for the title of worst film of all time. Excellent. Excellent. The film magazine Empire placed it at number 7 in its list of 50 worst movies ever. That's incredible. Leo said, but there are people who think it's a work of searing intellectual genius. It's not. Well, I'm going to have to see it now. Mia wants a dramatic reading of Groove is in the Heart by Delight in the Sebastian Maniscalco voice. Please and thank you. Gonna just say it again. I have a cold. We're going to dance. We're going to dance. We're going to dance and have some fun. The chills that you spill up my back keep me filled with satisfaction. When we're done, satisfaction of what's to come. I couldn't ask for another. No, I couldn't ask for another. Your groove, I do deeply dig. No walls, only the bricks. My supper dish, my succotash wish. I couldn't ask for another. No, I couldn't ask for another. Groove is in the heart. That's it. I can't. I'll do the second verse. The depth of hula groove makes us to the nth hoop. We're going to groove to Horton. Here's a hoo-hoo. I couldn't ask for another. No, I couldn't ask for another. DJ Soul was on a roll. I've been told he can't be sold. He's not vicious or malicious, just the lovely and delicious. I couldn't ask for another. That's great. That's what we all wanted. Now it's like Jameson totally sounds like diesel fuel. Red Dog said, quote, I've never had a problem with Kevin Nash. Lola said, so you just black out every episode? Pretty much. Massanity said, some words that used to be considered profanity make it through, but others are still censored. What are the rules there now? So I was reminiscing with our sound editor, our audio technician who does the mixing and the bleeping. And she said that, let me look here. Well, I should interview her. Only ones that have crazy amounts do we count. But the Darby episode and the Gabe Kidd episode are in the most bleeps ever. Both were in the 60s. Osprey's was a lot, but I think it was in the 40s. Maybe would have made it into the top 3 with Darby and Gabe Kidd. The Gabe Kidd one was genuinely having me rethink my mouse. I almost set one of the buttons to render beep, but it was too many steps for it to make sense and save time. So it is interesting because I don't know what happened. In the beginning, the YouTube rules were just if you swear within like the first minute, you have to bleep it. But after 1 minute or 3 minutes, whatever the rule was, then you could let it go and it would be fine. And it would be monetized just fine. So we let everything go. Shit, ass, fuck. We must have let a couple fucks go. And then I think there was some mandate, whether it was from YouTube or us or whatever, that everything has to be bleeped all the time, which I fucking can't stand. And they even were playing around with the beeping. So Paul White's episode is a different bleep. Jade Cargill's is like a cash register. And some of them happen so fast that if it's that, you can't even hear or understand what it's supposed to be. And it's frustrating because, like, I don't know, we're murdering people. We're fucking, cutting people's heads off, and we can't say fuck or shit. It's insane. So, and then we got, I think, a little looser, but not too much, which frustrates me. It feels like we've regressed. It's the age of censorship. You can't say anything anymore. And then there's things like, there's other things that fall into this territory of, do we bleep it? Like jacking off or just rim job or gangbang. So I've learned not that I still prefer saying fuck when we need to. Certainly other people can say whatever they want on the show. But yeah, it's just weird. It's just a weird territory. I would like all the unedited. I don't think we're marketed to children, even though we air on Sunday mornings. Prisma said, what constitutes a sharp penis? Is that a 7 reference? No, I think you just need to go to the gym more, men's locker room, take a peek around, and you'll see it. Leo said Harley would have been a good actor in a college or frat movie. She was born too late. It was a call. Oh, it's coming back. The 90s are happening all over again. People are doing blackface for Halloween. Nell said, although when he went off screen, I thought he was going to reveal Harley. No, I was sneezing. Walter said, on Hey W, the frat house drank too much, but funny quests. Nell said, where is the on-air sign? So this is another issue that bothers me now. This is, I would think, the third time in a row. Not in a row, but this is the third time over 161 episodes that the props department has lost the on-air sign. I don't understand how they have the Hey sign and the mugs and not the on-air sign. I figured they would keep them all together. The on-air sign that they just lost was a replacement sign for when they lost the last one. So it was my backup that I had that they lost when I gave it to them, and now I've had to buy another backup. And only when we're about to film do I find out we don't have it. So it's not like anyone alerted me and said we don't have it, I'm going to try to buy it. No. They just don't have it. Because I'm respected. Walter said, AW Blood and Guts coming up. And he's so excited, Walter, that he spelled guts with 2 T's. Katie said, RJ has been a life-size dummy being puppeteered by Harley this entire time. Prisma said, what makes the pour-over superior to the French press coffee? Well, I don't know if it's superior. If I just want one cup, I feel pour over is the way to go. It takes, I think, the most time, but it's very good. You can't make it cold brew. French press, you can. I would say it's an apple and oranges scenario. I am going to press this right now. Oh boy, I was just going to say, and I hope it doesn't spill, and then here we are. Okay. All right, we're fine. I can't bring it up and press it anymore. Trivia said, I need coffee after being hungover with the Frat. I haven't been hungover in so long. Nell said, Christine did warn us that the Blue Jays would affect her presence today, but she still messaged her. But I still messaged her that we miss her. Walter said, how was your Halloween? Did you eat some candy? No, I didn't. I didn't do shit. There was like 3 kids. Leo said, there was a terrible Brit movie called Confetti, where the actors were promised their naked bodies would be blurred on screen, and they were not. Leo is a terrible British film historian. He's not bad. The films he covers are bad on purpose. Doral said, sounds like it isn't giving Plan 9 a run for the money. Avery said, most people should write wrestling reviews like people write film reviews. But that would suppose that there's a level of intellectualism to wrestling. Gina said, I work in prison mental health, yet I hear the wildest stuff all week in this show. What the fuck are these movies? You got to recommend to your patients The Sex Lives of Potato Sellers, whatever it is. Miss Handy said, have you ever tried bottled coffees like Stoke? Do you like them? In a pinch. I like the coffee. I don't necessarily like drinking it out of a bottle. It feels like fucking dad's root beer. Katie said, oh no, your Maniscalco is vaguely Trumpian. It's because I have a fucking cold, Katie. I've lost my place. Avery said, it's giving daddy magic without the yell. And I've said that before. Joel said, making slide whistle sounds over here. What? Leo said, there's a lot of terrible and forgettable comedy movies set in Oxford or Cambridge University. RJ, good talking, a part of movie funny. Leo said, why is Daddy Magic's hair always wet? It's conditioned. Prisma said, that Darby Hay episode was awesome, by the way. Might be my new favorite, if only for the belt welt on your back. Rob said, does the AdSense generated from Hay cover its own production cost? Yes, because there are 0 production costs. One person hits record, and we get what we get. Mia said, I've never realized how much Gabe Kidd cussed like Osprey, but John Cena surprises me as well. He cusses a lot. Yeah, but in like a robotic corporate American Psycho kind of way. Leo said, do you think the singlet and pants combo is a lost art at ring attire? Is anyone doing it now? Brody Lee did it, but I can't think of many others. I think Juice did it for a little bit, and then people didn't like it. You should know, Juice, what are you doing? Get back to basics. People, God bless him for trying something new, but people loved the old Juice. Prisma said, petition for a completely off, uncensored episode of Hay. I mean, they've never done a best of, even though a fan made one. There's been a few, and it's great. They've never strung them all together, which I thought would be a good marathon or a live telethon. They don't care. Darnell said, I was doing something else, and then I heard gangbang in the background. I was very confused with the conversation happening. It's just me saying gangbang. That's pretty much it. Nothing too strenuous. Mia said, you need to keep an on-air sign in my suitcase at all times. I do, and then they took it, and then they lost it. Lola said, maybe the fans are stealing the on-air signs. Yeah, that's it. Nail said, I bet someone put it on eBay. Leo said, since Minnie Monet got ruined, do you think Harley can get a better puppet made? That puppet has a template made by a brand called Silly Puppets. What do you want? What do you want from me? Mia said, have you tried the protein foam from Starbucks? I had it the other day, and I like it. I don't like coffee. They've been very vague about what else is in it. It's protein foam. Just protein foam? What is that? It's not a thing. Doral said, I get great pour-over coffee from my 5-cup Mr. Coffee Machine. That's not pour over. It's a coffee machine. Prisman said, did you carve a pumpkin? I don't have a pumpkin on me. I did carve one a while ago. Let me see if I have a picture of it. Let me see if I have a picture of it. Here you go. Here's a good one. Look at this fella here. That's a good scared fella, huh? Leo said, doesn't Dave Meltzer do that? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Aver said, also, you've been showing up on some vlogs lately. Pick your favorite and least favorite from the AW-related vlogs. I don't like vlogs. I don't like any vlogs. They're all, I think I would say, equally bereft of artistic vision. Red Dog said, get yourself a Mucinex all-in-one. Thanks. What do you, at what point do you say, I'm going to be a doctor? Darrell said, Plan 9, worst movie, slide whistle, groove is in the heart. What? Mia said, I take that medicine when I'm sick. We were talking about being sick. Leo said, was War Games 2000 the worst War Games match? I think it's great to put 2000 after everything. Red Dog said, protein foam diabetes. Lola said, worst coffee brand in your opinion or drink in general? I don't like Dunkin'. I don't like Tim Hortons. It's not nutty about them. I didn't like, there's another one I really don't like. Dutch Bros, which is only in like certain states. Mia said, when is Meal and a Max coming back? Stop tweeting me. Maybe tweet TBS. It was just stopped answering. Leo said, War Games 2000 was barely a War Games match. I don't know what we're talking about. Gina said, I like the sugar-free vanilla protein drink at Starbucks, but I don't trust it because it does not taste like protein and the nutrient list is vague. Katie said, take a COVID flu combo test. Those things are slaying it. You can get treatment for both. I have a small cold. Leo said, Cafe Nero is the worst coffee brand. Actually, the British coffee is very bad. Very, very bad. Donnell said, did you ever think about how Whitney Houston's I'm Your Baby Tonight and the X-Men animated series theme song are almost the same? Just me? It's absolutely just you. Was never nutty about Whitney Houston. I mean, good parts, bad parts, or otherwise. I don't think she's awful, but I never connected to the music, nor did I connect to like the Deborah Wilson Mad TV parody. No part of it was interesting to me. Wrong demo, you know. But I'll look this up. Prisma said, do you have pictures of your niece's Halloween costume? Boy, do I. Let's see if I can find it. Everyone calm down. It's a coming. My niece and nephew were Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. If we can see that there. A shoeless Peter Pan. I think this is so progressive because many times Peter Pan is played by a woman pretending to be a boy in the Shakespearean sense. You know? It's quite a stance. And also to have Tinkerbell be larger than Peter Pan, I think is also a bold choice. Darrell said, I'll try to be non-topical. Better cartoon dog, Droopy Dog or Deputy Dog? Droopy. You love the droop. Mia said, what are you eating today since you're sick? Probably nothing bad. I don't think it's a good thing to do while I'm sick. Miss Annie said, Dunkin' is the most prominent coffee place around me. I don't mind them, but I prefer Wawa or Tim Hortons. I think all three are quite bad. Mia said, Dunkin' is trash. Their coffee smells burnt. Tarnell said, I just gasped. You truly are straight. Sorry. Mia said, oh, where's Sylvia? I don't know. She's unavailable at the moment. Katie said, that's ridiculously adorable. Miss Annie said, have you watched Downey Wrote That yet? I'm hoping to see it soon. No, I don't Peacock in Canada doesn't really, but I should and I will. Maybe on a plane. Leo said, I think it's funny that back in the day, prepubescent boys had to play women because women weren't allowed to act. They didn't think that was weirder. Well, it's the fun of a play. It's playing someone you're not. You know? Ooh, I'm in this woman, and that's part of the fun. Dara said, rewatched 13 Ghosts yesterday. How did Tony Shalhoub not become a leading man after that? In many ways, I think he has become a leading man. I just think he's such a deep actor that the choices are beyond what we can comprehend. Monk, obviously, and Paulie, that one with a parrot. Thoughts on Eddie Guerrero's daughter, Sherilyn, training to become a wrestler? James, why would I have any thoughts on that? I'm not stopping her from doing anything, and she hasn't done anything yet. I mean, there's nothing for me to say. Great. Nell said, Mia, if the Blue Jays won, Christine for sure would have done it. I don't know what we're talking about. Did you watch any scary movies for the Halloween season? I did not. I've been too busy, and I feel bad about it. I normally watch at least one Dr. Phibes and also the Creepy Cinema. TC American Tone does a wonderful job. Red Dog said, favorite monk assistant? I don't have one. I really, really don't. I mean, what's the list? Well, there's Biddy Schramm and Trailer Howard. Well, I would say, I know it's just the first 3 seasons, but I don't mind Biddy Schramm. I think she has a great name, and I also wonder why she left. So there's certain intrigue there. Mia said, today is officially full weather. Oh, we are deep into autumn now. Leo said they wanted you to play Eddie on Dark Side of the Ring. Yes. They wanted me to play Eddie Guerrero, because we're so similar, and Bret Hart. I mean, again, it's all in shadows. But it was non-union, so it was not happening. Katie said, I saw Tony Shalhoub, Jessica and Danny DeVito on Broadway in The Price a few years ago, and they were incredible. Mark Ruffalo was also there. Fuck him. Nell said, are you enjoying Breaking Bread? Are you? I love the show. It's an excellent show. And hopefully there's more to come. Dara said, during October, I watched a lot of double feature. I watched a lot, including a double feature of Monster Ball and Eight-Legged Freak. Well, that's like taking a shot of bleach and then a shot of Windex. Nell said, fuck Mark Ruffalo. Damn YouTube censors. Purple Fish said, favorite Murphy Brown assistant. Hard for me to not say Paul Rubens. But let's look at the list. Secretaries. $93 secretaries. Jesus. That's a video. I want a list. I want a full list, but they won't give it to me. It's fucking nuts. They only have like a flashback list. John F. Kennedy, Leslie Jordan, Michael Richards, which doesn't really count. Paul Rubens, who was there for a while. Marsha Wallace, Craig Bierko, and Julie Brown. Rosie O'Donnell, which I remember. Don Rickles and Sally Field. Bette Midler. I want to see the full list. All right, let me see. I just got to play this fucking video now. Jesus. I don't know who that is. They don't include all of them, and this bothers me. I don't know. This is just a thing about the secretary. They had a guy who looks like Hitler. They had a guy who looks like Elvis. They had Will's mom from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Annie Potts, a guy with a balloon head. Leslie Jordan again, a skeleton. Why can't I find the full fucking list? Maybe this is my job in life. These two. That's a shame. If anyone can find me the full list, let me know. Leo said, when are you opening your gifts? Well, Christine's not even fucking here right now, so what's the point? Sewell said, favorite holiday TV special? Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown? Oh, fucking awful. Garfield Christmas? Also fucking awful. The Pee-wee Christmas special, which I've said. And I believe it's a TV movie, Carol for Another Christmas, written by Rod Serling. What traditions do you and your family have for the holiday? Nothing. We eat and open gifts. I don't think we used to do Christmas Eve. We used to go, we had these family friends, and they had kids who were the same age as my brother and I, and it was a nice match. And we used to go on Christmas Eve and have Chinese food, the whole family. It was just a big fucking fest of shitty but great Chinese food. And we would often watch a show. If anyone remembers this, let me know. A show called Banzai. And it was a Japanese comedy betting game show. That's what we used to do. And then, people grow up and move on. And we don't do that anymore. Poncho said, you should get ICP on your AW YouTube. Yes, and Vince Russo. Lola said, favorite Universal monster? I mean, I'm very partial to the Phantom. But I also love Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman. It's top two. Mia said Murphy Brown being pregnant at her age was so controversial back then. Everyone was talking about it. Red Dog said I had a month or 2 months worth of dead ladybugs all over the front porch. All over the front porch. To the worst part of the fall season, besides raking and blowing leaves from the driveway, yards, and gutters. I mean, my backyard's just covered in yellow leaves now. It looks beautiful, but it's ultimately gross. Prisma said, I remember you recommending the other movie, Coherence. It was great. Do you have any other recommendations with similar premise? Not a similar premise, similar structure. The sound of my voice is a good one. I would say that's in line with that movie. Efrosion said Steven Snell. Gina said the drive-in theater by me ran black and white Universal monster movies for Halloween. It was super cool. That's cinema. I loved the original Frankenstein's very good. It's not the original Frankenstein. Didn't we watch, if you go back, members, we watched the original Frankenstein, the silent film, years ago, and it was a swell time. For Christine's Blue Jays. Oh, what a wonderful blue tribute, Spot Center. Well done. Wonder if Christine forgot to change her clocks. Katie said, well, fuck Darkside for being non-union and going in fraternity now. I mean, it's not like they're non-union because they're a documentary. So they're outside of union jurisdiction. But they could pay a little more. Leo said, what is a photo that was taken of you that was so bad that you still remember it? Let's see if I can find It's got to be one that's just in my phone that I'm disgusted by. I think the worst part is that I'm wearing a Rockaware shirt. They were different times. I was listening to Whitney Houston wearing Rockaware. Katie said, in my dreams, the AEW wrestlers unionize and then the unions take over wrestling. Well, there was a faction. Miss Annie said, Charlie Brown and Garfield are awful. It's so unnecessarily maudlin. I like the shitty tree. Fuck off. I found Charlie Brown annoying. Kevin said, I always wanted William Shatner to do a Star Trek Christmas special. I mean, the Star Wars one has a certain panache. There's got to be a Star Trek Christmas special. So, somewhere. It's got to be some version. This is nothing. The franchise has avoided making Christmas a major plot point. However, some episodes are considered holiday themed, such as The Next Generation's Tapestry, which echoes themes of A Christmas Carol, and Deep Space Nine's Armand Bashir, which is recommended viewing during the holidays. Dagger of the Mind is from the original Star Trek. We meet a comely young scientist who hooked up with Kirk after the Science Lab Christmas party. The Next Generation has an episode called The Child, where the baby is conceived immaculately. Bread and Circuses, along the lines of The Good Shepherd. Bread and Circuses is one of the few original Star Trek episodes with an explicit Christian theme set on a Roman-like planet. Lieutenant Uhura teaches our Holy Trinity the difference between the sun and sun worshippers. So, not really, no. Next Generation has Silicon Avatar. We're stretching here, but the antagonist of this episode is described as a giant snowflake. Well, maybe that's political. There's one called A Christmas Carol from The Next Generation. Oh, no, this is just fucking the one with Patrick Stewart. It's fucking stupid. I've lost my place. Miss Annie said Boris Karloff as the Mummy was my favorite. I think Bela Lugosi's role in the series, best role in the series, was Igor. I agree. Leo said Hitler allegedly had a poo fetish like Harley. Another reason they're so similar. Purplefish said the Murphy Brown subreddit is underwhelming and unhelpful. You know, Murphy Brown is a show that doesn't age well. Not because it's bad, but because it's so current. You have to be up on current events and politics for any of that shit to really, for all the jokes to make sense. And if you don't, like, you had to read the newspaper that day or else you were lost. It's not a fault of the show. I think it's still a great show, but it's another good example of why things shouldn't be measured on how they age. Some things age well and some things don't, and it's irrelevant. Leo said nothing crushes my self-esteem like an unflattering photo. Leo said, who's worse? Charlie Brown or Caillou? Well, Caillou didn't have any of that stupid fucking jazz. Sean said, I tried to watch the Star Wars Christmas special one year. Fascinating but a real talk. Written by Bruce Valanche. Caillou's hands down, cross-generationally the worst. Kevin said, Kirk and Santa bringing Christmas to Vulcans and the Klingons. Red Dog said, I've got a Charlie Brown-sized head, unfortunately. And then Nails just wrote Jesus H. I will say it again if you haven't already. Go watch the latest AEW with the Frat House, Griff, Preston, Cole, Jack Jameson, and the Bear. Boy, I learned about that fucking bear. Beautiful bear, wonderful bear. A bear for all seasons. Go like, go watch, go comment, go share. We are coming to the end of Hey. Continue supporting. And if you want people on the show, you tweet them, not me. You tweet them. Nell said, it was the Harley and hotel comment that got me. I don't even know what you're talking about anymore. Red Dog said, Christ of Latter-day Saints. Nell said the chat was too stunned to speak. Lola said the New Statesman with Rick Mayall was very political. A lot of it's unfortunately relevant today, but also not by design. Accidentally. Dara said thoughts on the movie Mystery Men. Rewatched that recently. They made fun of superhero movies before there were enough superhero movies to fully be appreciated. Truly ahead of its time, where I think its lack of success, and I don't know how successful it was, but it was because it was like parodying a thing that hadn't happened yet. I mean, now it's more relevant, again by accident. But amazing movie, looks amazing, fantastic cast, good time all around. Prism said, all I say is you better not end Hey until Kenny is on. It's entirely my control. Mia said, him saying age isn't but a number to start the episode. Nail said, people are tweeting Kenny and making signs. People are begging. Help the people and just go talk to him. You talk to him. He's accessible. He's around. I'm sure I guess he's around. Mia said, yes, we are tweeting. We want Kenny. Are you tweeting him? You're telling me here. Why? Don't bother telling me here. So well said, we'll really get a GTA 6 before we get a Kenny episode of Hey. The Blank Check podcast did a commentary on Mr. Men recently on the Patreon. Highly recommend it. I can't support these people. Nell said, be right back. I'm off to talk to Kenny. I don't know what people think I do all day. Mia said, yes, that's what I said. Well, we've all said things. You know what I'm saying? Gina with a wonderful anniversary commemoration. I can't believe I've been here 3 years, 37 months. Time flies. Yes, it does. Mass Annie said the entire Don Callis family, one episode of Hey would be intense. Well, we've had a lot of them. I think the only ones we haven't had are Takeshita Okada and Hechicero and Don. So I think you got to shoot for the top. You get Don, you can get everybody else. Nell said, I have anxiety because you keep catching up. Well, maybe you're not writing fast enough. You ever thought about that? Maybe you're wasting your fingers saying, happy cultiversary Gina. Who gives a fuck about that? Mia said, the Don Callis family needs to break up. You're a fucking homewrecker, Mia. How dare you wedge yourself in between our unit like you know better, because you don't. That man is captaining a ship, and you're like, let's put a hole in the boat. Hope you feel good about yourself. Hope you really, really do. Jesus, I have caught up. Ugh. Leo said, why is Don Callis orange? I mean, it's what they call a Winnipeg tan. It's not often hot, but the sun is very direct there. Nell said, so our memberships only show how long you've had memberships. How long has coffee and underwear actually been going on now? I am going to say conservatively 7 years. 6, almost 7 years. Oh my God, I was so young. And I was grinding the beans in the bullet. It was a real concerted process. 30-minute episodes? What is fucking wrong with me? Jesus. I mean, the first ones were on Facebook. It's a little difficult to find. Then some are on YouTube. Which actually, I just looked at, like, I had I believe Marty Bell was like on the second episode, so I typed in that and I found that. Going from there. Gina said, a fuchsia tribute. Lovely of you. Also, take my money. Use this for some hot tea and cold medications. Maybe get a vitamin C IV drip. Weird. Feel better. Thank you. Purple Fish said, how old are the leather pants? The leather pants I wore in that episode are different than the ones I wore in the Bryan Danielson episode. The only 2 times I've worn leather pants on Hay. They're brand new. Can we get a song of your choice just cuz? No. I love Don J. Callis, said Nels. Well, song says paying tribute to one of the great minds in our business. I thought it was Telly Savalas. Red Dog said, have a great week, everyone. Get well soon, RJ. I'm trying. See, Sass and Gina gives you money to feel better. Yeah, Gina, make them sing. I mean, she didn't ask for it, so I don't think it matters. Nell said, I thought it was maybe 2017. Now sing to end the show. What was it? Fucking weird, bossy people. Have you ever repeated underwear? A bunch. I have fucking 7 years worth of. What's 7 times 52? This is just an estimate. 7 times 52 is 364 episodes, which is wild. A wild thing to think about. But I have repeated underwear. Multiple parts of leather pants and still multiple pairs of leather pants and still strikes. I can't get into Whitney Houston. I've tried. It's just not happening, Darnell. Don't compliment his ass. He's sassing us. My Sandy said, were you there when Don Callis was busted open by Mox and got the wound that caused his big scar? I was there. I was there literally. I had to film something in that room right after it. So it was like clear. You're just waiting. You're in the hallway and you're waiting for cut or whatever, moving on. And then it's like, okay. And so you're just waiting there. And then the door opens and he comes out fucking carried and like, blah. It was like, oh, I didn't want to talk about it. I don't even want to fucking talk about it. Oh my God. It was like you could see his fucking skull. Oh my God. That was probably one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And it's like, all right. And now I think what I had to do, I think Mark Henry was doing like a thing for Rampage or something. And that's what we were going to do after that. Fuck. That was horrific. That was like driving by a car wreck. Oh my God. Nail said 364-ish pair of knickers. Probably. Doral said, I encourage this one if you want to. Was that your fucking choice? Nail said, only Gina has the power. Nail said, and then did you have to take the Mox bump after or was yours before? Mox attacked me after that. I think this was on his string of attacking people. Not that that's ever changed. Lola said, you sound traumatized, poor guy. I mean, wild shit. Just like I enter a minute after one of the most traumatizing moments. I am so brave now. Thank you. Wild fucking time. Just a wild, disgusting fucking time. Whoa! Oh my God. It was alarming. What else is going on? We have Full Gear coming up in New Jersey. Trying to work on some big names for the 0 hour panel. We're trying. May fail, may fall through. And what else is going on? Good things. Blood and Guts is going to be insane. We're in Houston next week doing this weird Texas run. Houston, then Greensboro, then Thanksgiving, I think. In Nashville. Oh, that's going to be nice. It's going to be a nice time. Lola said, New Jersey. Can't handle the pressure. Prisma said, do I have a suit for Wrestle Dream? Nice one. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. Russell Dream is 2 weeks ago. You're thinking of Full Gear. And yes, I got one, so calm down. Purple Fish said, any haze in the can? Yes, there is. And there's another a good one, a plucky group that you're going to need to get behind. Mia said, I miss Nana. And so does Nails. Well, what do you want from me? What do you think I have to do with any of this fucking shit? TK's on Twitter all the time. We should just bring Nana back to commentary. He got destroyed last night. He got murdered. What do you want? Lola said, would you ever dress in a top hat and tails? I think I would look awful in a top hat. I don't think we need to make my head larger. Nell said, Babes of Wrath return to hay? Yeah, that's what it is. Congrats, Nels. You have figured it out. The tag team tournament's coming up. Blood and Guts is coming up. Shit's going to get fucked, which I think should be the new AEW catchphrase. Shit's going to get fucked. Katie said, can someone tell TK he shouldn't be plugging Twitter in 2025? He's dedicated to the platform. Good. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it cut off. I was gone, but now I'm back. But we're done now. So what fucking difference does it make? Yes, you're still here just in time to sign off. Red Dog said, even the Wi-Fi is sick. Well, that is a program. Here's the banana underwear as mentioned previously. You get the gist. There's good coffee here, and I need you right now to go watch the latest episode of AEW with the Frat House, Griff, Cole, Jack Jameson, Preston fans, and a fucking bear. It's nuts. Go watch, go like, go comment, go share, go tell everyone it's great. Nell said, go Chiefs. I don't even know what sport that is. In the meantime, Godspeed and God bless. Shut up!